Hi guys, welcome back to the Yegi Beauty channel. Those of you that are new here, welcome. I am Yegi. I'm a master lash artist and educator. I also own Yegi Beauty, which is a full product line for eyelash extensions. In today's tutorial, we are going to break down eyelash extensions 101. So I'm going to take it all the way back and break everything down for my new lash girls and really go in detail of how to pick up the eyelash, how much to dip it in the glue, what to do in order to get a nice simple mapping, and all that good stuff. So make sure you watch and comment below if you have any questions or if something doesn't make sense. Feel free to also reach out to us via social media, DMs, email, and all of that will link below. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. For this tutorial, we are going to cleanse the client's eyelashes as they are laying down. Normally, we like to send our clients to the bathroom so they can take their time, cleanse their eyelashes as good as possible, and it will not take away from our time with the client if we are booked back to back. But for this client, we are going to show you how we're cleansing as they lay down with the Peri bottle and the Yegi foam lash cleanser. Now, it is important for your cleanser to be tear-free so you could really get in there and cleanse the eyelashes, and you want a gentle formula to also not over dry the eye area. If the eye area is too dry, it can also cause irritation when we are using tape around it for our next procedure. Once the eyelashes are nice and cleansed, we do want to dry them before applying the primer. We are going to use lip wands to apply the primer as quickly and efficiently as possible. We're going to use one from above, one from below, and just like that, go ahead and cover all of the natural eyelashes. Now, this primer, it is specially formulated for eyelash extensions, so make sure you are using the right products. It is very important for your sets to be quality. Then we are going to go ahead and dry the eyelashes once more after the primer, then use the under eye patches to hold down the bottom lashes. Now we are going to peel the under eye patches. The foamy sticky part goes on the eyelids, the bottom lashes. We're going to have the client open their eyelashes and we're going to place it just like so. We don't want the under eye patches to be too high where they're going in the client's eye, because that's how we can cause discomfort. And if you've ever gotten your eyelash extensions done, you know it's not fun when they are uncomfortable. The whole process could be super smooth, super relaxing. The client can fall asleep, but if the taping and the way you apply the extensions are not properly done, that's when the client might have discomfort and not really love the process of eyelash extensions. So everything I go over is important for that, is to get a quality set and also, of course, have your clients be comfortable and for them to have healthy eyelashes so they can come back and years have eyelash extensions. Now for taping down the bottom eyelashes, first I use the Yegi hydrating under eye patches, then I use white tape, and over it I'm going to use the clear tape to give myself a nice smooth surface. There are different methods of taping. We have a bunch of other tutorials that you could see different options, but this is still by far my favorite way of taping for quite a few reasons. My second favorite would be just using the under eye patches and the blue sensitive tape instead of doubling up on the white tape and the clear tape if that's what you have in your kit. Now, a nice clean taping is really setting you up for success for how you're going to apply the eyelash extensions. You should not see any folds, any breakage, any weird things on the tape. It should be nice and smooth like how you see in the video right now. Now, after the client's eyelashes are nice and taped, we are going to go ahead and map out the eyelashes that we're going to do. So for her, we are doing a nice classic set, and we are starting from the inner corners and going gradually longer to the outer corners. It is our cat eye, but it is slightly shifted, so we are going to taper down just a tad bit at the very corners. Now this is to avoid any drooping. Here are the eyelashes I'm going to use on her. It's the Yegi matte flat eyelashes, and these are actually great because even just a 0.15 thickness feels really nice and full for a classic set because they are kind of split at the end. It almost looks like there's two eyelashes on one, so super cool. And the best part is it's super duper soft. So these are my favorite lashes to go to for a classic set. Now that we have the lashes, next thing I need is my adhesive. So for the adhesive, I'm going to use a glue shaker, an adhesive shaker, and I'm using the Yegi Mega Hold adhesive, and we'll link all the products below. Again, super important for you to shake your glue or make sure your glue is nice and blended, because if your glue, even if it has been sitting for one day, it can layer up based on the different formulas in there. So you want to make sure you are shaking it. Either hand shake it for a long time or use a glue shaker, at least for your first client as you begin your sets. And of course, for your adhesive, you want to make sure you're using adhesive lid wipes so the glue doesn't get glued shut. Keep your products as clean as neat as possible. It will help your flow and it will actually make your extension process easier. Sometimes slow and steady is better than rushing through a set, okay? So make sure you give yourself enough time also before and after your sets to be able to clean up, set up, and do everything properly. Now, another reminder is you do want to make sure that you are comfortable in your seating area. Your back should not be hunching. You should not be kind of raising your shoulders. If you are doing either of those things, that means maybe your chair or your bed is either too high or too low, and that could get in your way of lashing perfectly. So make sure you are adjusting your area and you're comfortable the way you're sitting. You have really good lighting, and also you are using glasses, magnifying glasses, either regular like seeing glasses or the lamps, and we'll link all those below if you want to see some options. But having a comfortable, good setup and having the right tools and products is really what's going to set you up for success. Now I am using the gold tweezers. These are again one of my favorites, the moon-shaped one for application. It's kind of a straight tweezer, but it gives a tiny bit of a curve to control the lashes and get in the inner and outer corners better, and the curved tweezer to isolate. Now this is a classic set, so we are putting one eyelash extension on top of one natural eyelash. And to break it down even more is, first we're isolating, having our isolation ready. Second, we're grabbing the classic eyelash extension. Third, we're dipping it in the adhesive, and fourth, we're gluing it on, okay? So it's important to not dip the extension in the adhesive unless you have your isolation ready, because if you do that, then the extension could dry before you glue it on, and like that, you're gonna have worse retention. So you wanna make sure you are following this steps and making that a habit. And this is super simple, basic set. It's a cat eye, it's a classic, so this is really good video to start off with and technique to practice if you are new to lashing. But again, isolation, let me break down some things about isolation. We want to hold the tweezers open where you could see that one natural eyelash very clearly before you apply the extension. If you don't do this, again, other eyelashes can touch it and can get glued together, and that's when we're risking a lot of damage to the natural eyelashes, because every single one of our natural eyelashes have a different growth rate, and if you are not isolating properly and things are glued together, that's when they can get stuck, and when one is ready to grow out, it's going to be pulling the one that's stuck to it. So that is why it's super important to take your time to isolate, okay? If you are not going to isolate properly, you're not going to have beautiful sets. Eyelashes are also not going to sit nicely in place if you are not isolating properly, because they're going to feel like they're being more crisscross or they're tilting because things are stuck together. So take your time and practice your isolation and hold your tweezers open before you glue that extension on the natural lash. Few other things about isolation. I like to start at the base of the client's natural eyelashes with the tip of my tweezers, and then I glide open the tweezers to have one eyelash in between them. Now you can hold the eyelashes open from the tips of the natural eyelashes or from the base, but if you do hold it down from the base, you'll see you'll be able to control it a little bit better, and it'll be easier when you're going in there to glue the extension on. So again, few things about isolation: make sure you only have one natural eyelash in between the tweezers, and second, hold your tweezers open closer to the base of the natural eyelashes so you can see the natural eyelash that's isolated as clearly as possible before you glue the extension on. Now let me break down how to grab the extension and glue it, since that is one other key things for eyelash extensions 101. So the place we want to grab the eyelash extension is from almost the very top. So if you pay attention to where I'm holding the one piece of hair before I dip it in the adhesive, you could see it is fairly close to the top. So make sure you're doing that. And the purpose of that is to make sure that when we are dipping the extension in the adhesive, it is not going to get stuck to the tweezers, because if it does, then it's going to be messy and it's going to not pretty much be able to be stuck on the natural eyelash. It's going to end up being sticking to the tweezer. So hold the extension higher and dip the adhesive almost halfway up the extension, and like that you won't touch the tweezer when you're dipping the adhesive. There will be no adhesive stuck on your tweezers, so your tweezers would work better, and as you're gluing it on the natural eyelashes, it would release from your tweezers instead of getting stuck there, and like that you can have a smoother process as you're applying. Now, another thing about grabbing the eyelash extension is, first, you want to make sure you have tweezers that grip really well, that they are not going to slip out of the tweezers, and as you grab that one extension, it's going to stay in place in your tweezers. If it's not, then that's probably when you want to check your tweezers to make sure that they're still new, they're precise, and that they're gripping well, because that can also really get in your way and your speed of doing the application. Another thing I notice as I'm teaching a lot of people is the way we hold the tweezers. So you want to make sure you are holding the tweezers with kind of straight hands and they are not crunching up. So your fingers are not bent. They're pretty straight on the tweezers. And we have another tutorial to kind of go over how to hold tweezers, but just make sure you are comfortable holding them and you're not putting too much tension on your hands, because of course we want to protect our hands. With that said too, the tweezer should be pretty much perpendicular to the extension as you're grabbing it. So your tweezer should not be pointing up or down. It should be perpendicular from where you're grabbing it on the lash strip itself. Now, also for isolation, pay attention. I am helping myself with my right hand or my application tweezers to isolate. I'm moving eyelashes away, left and right, and helping to really use my other hand to isolate, and that will make it a lot easier, especially for clients who have a lot of natural eyelashes. This is the best technique to go. Now, there is a different technique, isolating in layers. I think actually that's kind of more difficult and a little bit more advanced. You have to be really comfortable in the eye area, but some other people have a different opinion, so we'll link that video below if you guys are curious about how to isolate in layers. Now, the next thing I want to focus on is where we are gluing the extension on top of the natural eyelash, because that is also what matters. So pay attention to this hair right there. It is important for the base of the natural eyelash and the extension to be attached together. The tip of the natural eyelash may be kind of sticking out or not attached, because the curl of the extension and the curl of the natural eyelash, or the lengths, will definitely be different, and that is okay. That will not get in the way of your retention. The key is that the base is attached nice and tight. There is no holes or air or anything in between. And the best way to achieve that is as you're gluing the extension on, you want to focus at the base of the eyelash. Where you focus your eyes literally at and the extension, that's where you're going to glue it. If you keep looking at the tip of the client's natural eyelashes or the curl of the extension, that's what's going to end up getting in your way of gluing it properly with the base being aligned. So the base of the natural eyelash and the extension should be aligned and very perpendicular as you're lowering the extension on top of the natural eyelash. Now, our goal is to get almost 100% of the client's natural eyelashes to have an extension on them. It does seem a lot at first and impossible, but with practice, literally you'll do it in no time. It starts feeling therapeutic. It starts feeling like it's second nature. You're not even thinking and you're just applying. So make sure that that's the end goal, but in the beginning, don't stress so much. Just do your best and do a clean, precise job, and your speed and the amount of eyelashes that you apply on there will definitely come with practice. I'm going to slow this part down so you guys can see where I'm holding the eyelash extension and how we're dipping it in the glue. So look, it's almost all the way on the top. My tweezers are perpendicular to the eyelash, and we're dipping it in the glue in the center halfway, but we're also doing a quick wipe to get any excess adhesive off. We want very little adhesive. We don't want to see the adhesive on there. We don't want to see beads or balls. We just want a little bit of adhesive that's coating the extension, and we want to glue it right away for the best bond. And we want to make sure that when we do glue the extension, if by any chance any of the other natural eyelashes do touch it, we do want to pull it aside and separate it right away before it dries. Now take a look over here. If you ever glue the extension on and there's a gap and a hole like this between the natural lash and the extension, you do want to remove that and replace, because that extension is not bonded properly at the base and it will not last. And look, we are gluing almost touching the client's natural eyelid, but it's not. It looks like it is, but it's not. It's 1 to 2 millimeters away from the client's natural eyelid. Make sure the hair is extension and the adhesive is never touching the skin. It should only go on the natural eyelash. And look, the tip of the client's eyelash, the second try is out, and that is totally okay. Our goal is to get the base to be attached. Here we go again. See, let's pay attention to where we're gluing the extension now. I'm going to slow it down again. See, it goes about 1 to 2 millimeters away from the base. Again, super important if you want a nice set. And of course, to protect the client's natural eyelashes and have them be comfortable and not itchy and all that good stuff. Can I also say one other thing I love about these flat eyelashes? Besides them being super visible for a classic set, they are also super soft, and they just kind of almost like a magnet attached to the client's natural eyelash because of their shape. Another thing about the adhesive, if you are using it in a glue ring, it is good for about 20 minutes. So that's average of when you want to switch it out in your glue ring. That's how it's going to be at its best, and you're going to have great retention. So make sure you wipe or get a new glue ring and put a new couple drops of adhesive in there about every 20 minutes. We can use a little bit of tape and lift up the corners of the eyelid in order to really get to all those baby hairs or smaller outer corner hairs and inner corner hairs, okay? That's how you're gonna have a really nice, clean, complete looking professional set, is if you do actually take your time and apply extensions on the inner and outer corners as well. The tape I'm using on the skin is the blue sensitive tape, and I do fold over the top a little bit to be able to have a little place to grip the tape as I'm gonna remove it from her skin. Sometimes if you don't fold it over and you don't have that little gripping area, it's kind of painful and weird to just try to like peel it off the skin, so make sure you're not doing that. Here's another eyelash where you could really see that I'm applying it about 0.5 millimeter, 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters away from the skin. The closer you can get to the skin but not touch the skin is your goal, but it is better to apply it further away from the skin than touching the skin. Trust me on this one. I've been training people for over 15 years now, and it really makes a difference. The comfort of the client's eyelashes, the health of their eyelashes is number one key, and we want to avoid any discomfort and any infections. So stay away from the skin, glue on the eyelash, and you'll have a smooth transition going from a beginner lash artist to a professional. Now, if you have any extensions or any natural eyelash stuck together, again, make sure you're taking your time to gently separate them, so your end goal is to have nothing attached, okay? So it does happen when sometimes they do stick together, but the key thing is to take your time at the end or periodically as you're applying the lashes to separate anything that's attached together. Now I'm going to just keep applying the extensions, following everything we talked about. And again, quick breakdown is: first isolate, second grab the eyelash, dip it in the glue, glue it on the natural eyelash. So we are going to follow this, try to put the extensions on every single one of the client's natural eyelashes until it is nice and full. Now, as the eyelashes look full, I'm going to go ahead and untape that tape that I lifted the outer corner with. We're going to brush them in place and kind of see how they look. Now, if you're an overachiever, here's a last step that I like to do in order to get all the little natural eyelashes and put as many extensions on as possible. And again, the reason for this is because the more you put them on, the longer they're going to last and the nicer the sets are going to look for a longer period of time. And of course, that's important for the clients if they are paying a lot of money and spending a lot of time to get their eyelash extensions done. They want them to last. So this is what we are doing. We are lifting the client's natural eyelashes up with the blue sensitive tape and seeing any natural eyelashes that are kind of sticking out in between the layers and applying extensions on those as well. It's just a different angle, different view that you can see and apply more extensions on if anything looks off or if anything needs adjusting. Now make sure you're taking your time and holding the natural eyelashes with your tweezers as you take that tape off, because you don't want to pull the lashes, obviously. Now I'll do the same thing, focusing on the inner corner and to see if there's any other baby lashes that are sticking out that we can add extensions on. After applying on all of the lashes that I could see with this taping technique, I'm going to go ahead and release those lashes, and we are going to do another technique to see any other baby inner corner lashes, because those are the tricky ones. We want to make sure we attack them in different ways. I am now going to use the blue sensitive tape and pull out the inner corners just like so. We're going to apply those few little extensions that make such a difference. Literally every eyelash counts. Now let's check, make sure nothing is stuck and everything looks good. We are gonna brush everything in place, do any final touches that we feel like we need to make them as nice as possible, and we're gonna seal everything in with the Yegi Super Bonder. Of course, make sure the eyelashes are dry. The way to use a Super Bonder is you make sure you dry the eyelashes after you're done about 3 minutes, then you apply the Super Bonder, and then you dry again about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and you are good to go. Then everything should be set and the clients should not have any downtime. They can shower, swim, do everything right after, which again is something clients love, because in the past they've hated to have to wait 24 hours or few days in order to even wear makeup. If you are a perfectionist, last thing you can do is check the eyelashes with the lash mirror in order to make sure they're gonna look as good as when she opens her eyes before you let her see them. And here it is. Here's the beautiful final classic nice set, right? It doesn't even look like a classic. Actually, what's really cool is she is a twin and we did a volume set on her sister. So you guys will be able to see that tutorial soon. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel to be able to see 2 different looks on about pretty much the same faces at the same time. Pretty awesome. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and a little preview. We will be releasing another tutorial soon that is volume 101. And the cool thing about it is that it's about the same model. So we had twins. We did the classic on one of the sisters and volume on the next one, and it was really cool to compare 2 looks on the same faces and see what we like better. So I hope you guys enjoy, and make sure you're subscribed and your notifications are on so you get to see that soon. Well, thank you again. Until next time.
Bye.